Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to some Toronto Raptors news, a potential Toronto Raptors trade target, because the Toronto Raptors, whenever a center hits the market, the Raptors just end up somehow being linked, and we were linked to this guy during the summer as a potential free agent acquisition. We were surprised when all the free agents sort of went off the board that we didn't end up scooping this guy up in the offseason given his lower contract, but Riker, people have seen it in the thumbnail, Richaun Holmes has been made available by the Sacramento Kings, along with Buddy Hield and Harrison Barnes. So the Kings are doing a little bit of a fire sale down there in Sacramento, and as Toronto Raptors fans know, whether it be trading Terrence Davis for a second-round pick that lands as Delano Banton, or trading Rudy Gay for a team that's actually good at basketball, we love fleecing those Sacramento Kings, and maybe we could pick up their center. So Richaun Holmes, should the Raptors go after him? Would he be a good fit? What are your thoughts on that potential trade target?
This might not be the response you'd expect from me, Ben, but I think he would be an all right fit. Not even a good fit. Not a bad fit. 6'10", 1 inch taller than our next tallest player, so it would make him the biggest guy on the team.
Hey, don't disrespect
Reasonable
DJ
contract.
Wilson. Don't disrespect
Yeah.
DJ
Is he
Wilson.
6'10" as well?
I think so, yeah.
Reasonably decent contract, basically 10, 11, 12 million dollars, 33 million guaranteed, then 13 million in his fourth year as a player option. So no hate there. The issue is he doesn't shoot threes, and he's 28 years old. And when you're looking at who could we actually trade and who would the Sacramento Kings expect in return, I don't know. And there's not really a lot when you go through the roster that way in terms of trade partners to bring this guy back in that I'd be willing to give up, Ben. So I'm hoping you have an argument as to why we would want to trade for him, because I'm not fully sold on it.
Yeah, well, first, he fits the Siakam Fred timeline way more than he does sort of our younger core group, so that's something you do have to factor in. However, the Raptors have been mentioned as buyers this trade deadline, and clearly we have a lot of talent on this roster, particularly at the top. The bench has been struggling, but, you know, in the playoffs, the play-in tournaments, you only have to run 7 guys usually anyways, so maybe that's what Masai Ujiri's banking on. I think Richaun Holmes could improve the scoring, could improve the front court a little bit if he's brought in. So if you pull up his stats, if you look at how he's doing this year, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 50% from the three-point line, Riker, Splash Mountain out there on, I'm not going to, the attempts
Probably
aren't
2
shown.
attempts.
Yeah, the attempts aren't shown in this here, but 70% from the field, which is remarkably solid, has dealt with some
4
injuries,
attempts.
has been in and out of the lineup, but Riker, he does sort of fit a need. He fits that sort of need in terms of a consistent scoring big. Now, you made up a little trade machine. We can start cooking that one up, that animation, that trade machine, pull that one up here now. And you essentially said Khem Birch, Malachi Flynn, going back to Sacramento for Richaun Holmes. That's a deal I think both of us would probably say, okay, that's something you'd be cool with. Khem Birch has also dealt with injuries. Richaun Holmes just feels like a little bit of he's a better scorer. He has a bit more polish to his game, a bit more steady. However, I don't see a world where the Sacramento Kings really accept this one. They have a bunch of guards. Maybe if they blow up their backcourt in a Ben Simmons trade, they want Malachi Flynn as a young piece. But they have Terrence Davis, as we mentioned, De'Aaron Fox. They have Davion Mitchell. They have Tyrese Halliburton. 4 guys that are itching for rotations. But Buddy Hield as well on this roster. So they aren't that interested in a guard. You made this trade machine up? Because I have another trade sort of in my mind, cooked up in my head, that I think we will debate on. But do you think there's any way the Sacramento Kings would accept this? Because I think you and I and Raptors fans would be down for this one.
I made this trade up because at $10 million, it has to semi-balance.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to trade Gary, OG, Goran won't be accepting any trade, Fred, Siakam. My headphones might have just cut out, did they? No, I think I'm good. But when we're close, but the only comparable contracts is Chris Boucher, that's our only scoring punch off the bench, and Khem Birch. So Khem Birch basically has to be involved unless you have in your brain some better way. But then the nice thing about the trade proposal is you can swap out Malachi Flynn with any of our other bench guys. So if you're saying it's got to be bigs, perhaps Birch and Watanabe, maybe even Svi just to sweeten it up, or Watanabe and Bonga, something like that. I'm fine to give up any of our deep bench guys because we've essentially benched them all anyways, and they're out of the rotation. That makes it worse for a trade because the Kings would have to view them all on potential alone. And I don't know how far that gets you when you're trading for a player.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. But I just don't see a world where this trade goes down. I don't think the Sacramento Kings accept it. I just don't think. I don't know.
You said you had something in your mind then. Hit me with what you think is reasonable in your mind.
I know. I want to sound off. That's why I'm saying this. But this one might be a little bit controversial. It might not be, though. It might not be. Because, obviously, Chris Boucher for Richaun Holmes straight up. Maybe some people do it 2 weeks ago. Certainly a lot of people would have done it. You and I aren't doing that right now. We're getting that out of the way.
Yeah, God, no.
Yeah.
No.
No way. No way. What about Chris Boucher, Goran Dragic, and a first round pick, right? The Raptors are currently mid-lottery team for Richaun Holmes and Buddy Hield. You bring back Buddy Hield. You get some extra. You get two guys that can score off the bench. Riker has gone. Is he getting a golden kazoo? Who really knows? But this deal, we need some shooting and we need a scoring punch. Buddy Hield can certainly be that. He's on a decent-sized contract at this point here. Now, Richaun Holmes can fill in for some of the scoring.
Ben, stop. That trade sucks, dude. What are you on right now? That is a horrible, terrible trade. Buddy Hield is semi-productive, and he's average at best from 3. And Richaun Holmes is only average
at best
12
for
and
3.
8.
What are you talking about?
What's
Buddy
his percentage?
Hield is a 3-point sniper, sir.
He ain't sniping. That's why they've been trying to dump him for 2 years.
He's in Sacramento.
That's horrible.
He's in Sacramento. You pull up Buddy Hield stats. I don't have that stat graphic loaded, but
greatly.
I don't know. The Raptors clearly need. We saw it in the most recent game. The Raptors clearly need some scoring off the bench, and Boucher can provide it, but he's been up and down. He's on a high right now, so you can probably get off him. With this deal, we get rid of the Dragic contract, which I know a lot of people will be happy about, and I know first-round picks are very valuable, and maybe put some protections on it, but this is not a win-now move in terms of going for a championship, but it's one of those trades that builds up your roster to a point where you're middle of the pack of the Eastern Conference, so you're solid there. So once your younger guys take those steps, you have role players around them to where you're not scrambling for all those guys or praying on a first-round pick, praying on some ping-pong balls that you get someone that can be productive. You get two legitimate NBA guys that can produce at a very high level and score, probably willing to come off the bench given their status in their careers and do all these sorts of things. And then, that's a 7 to 8 man rotation we'd have on that squad, Riker, that I'd be confident in. I'd be cool with rocking, because if we have Fred, Gary Trent Jr., OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, and then Richaun Holmes, they're ready to go, and then Kem Birch, Precious Achiuwa, and Buddy Hield coming off the bench. Those are 8 guys that I'm cool with sort of rocking and playing with consistently. If Precious kind of comes in out of the lineup, we have a few bigs there. I don't know. The first would be tough. I might be off my rocker, but what are your thoughts on this one? You got the stats pulled up now.
I can't even express how much I hate this trade, Ben. It's infuriating. You're pitching this and giving logical arguments for it, and I despise that I'm about to add a bit of fuel to your fire here. That Hield is shooting 38% from 3 on 9 attempts per game, and he is coming off the bench. He's only started 6 out of 48 games that he's played this season, averaging 15 points, but 30 minutes. He would obviously have to get less than 30 minutes on the Toronto Raptors.
Maybe not.
I just, with Boucher being our scorer off the bench, it just doesn't sit right with me to trade him for Buddy Hield that the Kings have been aggressively trying to trade for the last 2 seasons. Usually that's a sign there's something wrong with the player or the player's fit within a franchise. And then Richaun Holmes, which he's only 1 inch taller than our 2 other bigs. Now we have 3 bigs that might all suck, might all be slightly inadequate on defense, and might all lack touch around the rim because, again, he's only averaging 12 points, eight rebounds. So I'm not sold on that trade, but you did give some convincing arguments as to why you would do it. But I wouldn't immediately love it if it happened.
Yeah, it would suck to give up Boucher, but he is a free agent by the end of the season. And some are saying, we thought it was crazy when it was brought up like a week ago that he could command. This was someone on ESPN brought this up, one of the deep cut reporters, that he might be looking for him anywhere to $10 to $15 million on the open market out there. And someone even brought up $17 million. So no way he's coming back on that type of contract. So if he's going to leave anyways.
Well, you're paying Richaun Holmes $12 million a year, though.
Yeah, but that's not 70. Richaun Holmes is a bit more polished scorer around the rim.
But he can't shoot threes, so you can't even play him in the fourth quarter.
That's fair. But you get the 3-point shooter and Buddy Hield, right? You get your bigger center that can guard bigs. Richaun Holmes, for 6'10", is definitely not small by any means, but he's a big dude. He's a guy that can guard those big men, get some blocks, and do all that sort of stuff. So I don't know.
But I think Buddy Hield, by the way, 3-year. On 2 more seasons left on his contract, 20 mil a year. So that's what you'd be working with his contract.
Yeah, and that's a great price for a 3-point sniper 6-man, I think. I think that's a fair sort of bargain there in terms of what shooters are getting. JJ Redick was getting more than that for Philadelphia, so I'm cool with that rock in there. But let us know what you guys think. Are you guys cool with this trade going down potentially for the Toronto Raptors? In our hypothetical world, we've been rumored for seemingly everyone on the market. Masai Ujiri's out there making calls, whether it's the young socialite Miles Turner, different big men, right? And I don't know. I'm cooler with this one if we don't have to give up any of our core guys to make happen, but probably unrealistic. Check out the Instagram, the TikTok, the Twitter, all that cool stuff. You have any last words, Riker, on Richaun Holmes, Buddy Hield coming to the Raptors?
Dumbfounded, baffled, shocked, but again, you've almost swayed me here with some convincing arguments. So that's it. Cheers.